All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to say, Call Hullah Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Ruach HaKudash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who taught us his truth and rule well, and Shalom to the hopeful elect, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Ruach HaKudash, Barakatham. It's the brother Kazak coming back at it again with another lesson, and the title of this lesson is going to be the importance of fasting. Seeing as we just, observed and kept, the Day of Atonement, rehearsing the righteous acts, Day of Atonement being the day where we, go on a fast, no food, no water, for a period of a day, from sundown to sundown, Spirit hit me, going into, the importance of fasting. All right. And now as I was looking for, a thumbnail for the lesson, I came across this this image, that comes with a caption that says, as your vibration raises, forces will come to work against you. All right, it says they are afraid of your power. Your spiritual awakening scares the sleepers. And how does our vibration raise? By coming into this truth, which is Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, opening our eyes, our ears, and our hearts to understand the words written in the book, and in turn, the Ruach HaKudash, coming upon us to teach and walk in this thing of ours, our vibration raises. All right. And as a result, all right, it says, forces will come to work against you. And these forces come by way of spiritual demons, man. Where they come, it's basically their job to do, spiritual demon Satan, that's his job to, try and tempt you and sift you out this truth, by presenting different situations, by presenting thoughts into your mind, and one of the ways we combat this, through the spirit is by utilizing the tools, which is fasting and prayer. Fasting and prayer, because when you fast, when you go, without eating and drinking, all right, the flesh debilitates, okay, because it's not being fed. But on the flip side, your spirit becomes stronger, and your connection with Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai becomes stronger, and to prove that, we're going to go to the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 20, verse 1. It's in the wake of, Moab and Ammon, being the so-called Chinese and the so-called Japanese, back in the ancient times, that's their true biblical nationalities, raising up against the Southern Kingdom. What happened? All right, you had, which, the Southern Kingdom under that time was under, the rule of King Jehoshaphat, who was the successor of King Asa. It was so lucky if I mispronounce his name, but basically he was a righteous king, and Jehoshaphat too, until I believe the very end, he started dealing with, it says in the same chapter, he started dealing with let me see, it says right here, he started dealing with Ahaziah, the king of Israel, who did very wickedly, which the scripture says, go not in the way of the wicked, roughly paraphrasing, according to the book of Proverbs, chapter 4 and 14. All right. So anyways, we're going to read from the top, and we're going to get into it and, basically set the stage as to why, it is important to, fast and pray. All right. So it says, it came to pass after this also, that the children of Moab, the children of Ammon, with them other beside the Ammonites, came against Jehoshaphat, which that's how you say Jehoshaphat in the Hebrew, all right, because it means Yahweh's judgment. All right, and it reads, and then there came some that told Jehoshaphat, saying, there cometh a great multitude against thee from beyond the sea on this side Syria, and behold, they be in Hazazon Tamar, which is En-gedi or En-gedi, all right, however you pronounce that. All right, verse 3, and Jehoshaphat, King Jehoshaphat, he feared and set himself to seek Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, and proclaimed a fast throughout all Judah. So he proclaimed, a day of affliction throughout all Judah. All right, why? Because he wanted to raise up the frequency, turn up his signal in order to, contact Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, that Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai may hear their prayer and deliver them from the hands of the Ammonites and the Moabites, man. All right, which then being the modern day Chinese and Japanese, hey man, they not exempt from the judgment either, man. They gonna go into slavery too. All right. So continuing on, it says, and Judah gathered themselves together to ask help of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So what did they do? How did they ask for help? They prayed, man. Okay. They fasted and they prayed. Even out of all the cities of Judah, they came to seek Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, because they were fasting. And Yahushua stood in the congregation of Judah and Jerusalem, in the house of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, before the new court, and said, O Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, the power of our fathers, art not thou our power in heaven, and rulest not thou over all kingdoms of the heathen? And in thine hand is there not power and might, so that none is able to withstand thee? Art not thou our power, who didst drive out the inhabitants of this land before thy people Israel, and gavest to the seed of Abraham thy friend forever? Which that happened in the time of Joshua, and it was through the spirit and power Yahweh Bashim Yahushai that we took those lands from the Canaanites, man. All right. Continuing on in the reads, verse 8, and they dwelt therein and built thee a sanctuary therein for thy name, saying, if when evil cometh upon us, as the sword, judgment, or pestilence, or famine, we stand before this house and in thy presence, for thy name is in thy house, and cry unto thee in our affliction. All right, because they were fasting. Then thou wilt hear and help. And now behold, the children of Ammon and Moab and Mount Seir, whom thou wouldest not let Israel invade when they came out of the land of Egypt, but they turned from them and destroyed them not. Behold, I say, how they reward us to come to cast us out of thy possession, which thou hast given us to inherit. Right? Because it's always it's always like the same story, man. These nations is confederate against us. They were always confederate against us, man. Okay? Because they never wanted us to rule over them. All right, verse 12. Oh, our power. All right, wilt thou not judge them? For we have no might against this great company that cometh up against us. Because this is three nations, man. This is Ammon, this is Moab, and this is Edom. All right. Neither, and at that time, another thing too, just to give a background, Israel was divided, man. This was after the events of Jeroboam and Rehoboam. You had the northern kingdom, and then you had the southern kingdom. And Israel being divided, man, they weren't as strong as them being together, so they were outmatched. All right, so that was the only solution, was to go and seek Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay, and that's one of the things too, just to further go into that. All right, us in this knowledge, we may it may be certain situations that happen, where our only hope and the only solution is to seek Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, because we are here yet this day in our captivity. We don't have no might. Our might is Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay, so therefore we seek him that he may help us out, that he may hear us and deliver us from whatever said situation, and it could be anything, man. All right, and most importantly, it also goes into things in the spirit. We might be dealing with, we might be weak in the faith. We might be dealing with a lot of temptations. We might be going through it. What do, man? You fast and you pray. You seek Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and he will deliver you, man. Because that's ultimately what he's waiting for. That's what he's looking for us not to depend and lean not unto our own understanding, but to trust and believe that he will deliver us from whatever situation is at hand. And this is the mentality that we ought to have, especially in the times that we're coming into, in the time of Jacob's trouble, man. To trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, that he may deliver us, man. As it is written, he shall deliver thee out of 6 trouble, in 7, yea, there shall no evil touch thee. All right. So continuing on, and it reads. All right. So again, let me read this again. Verse 12. All right. Oh, our power, wilt thou not judge them? For we have no might against this great company that cometh against us. Neither know we what to do, but our eyes are upon thee. And that's the mindset we have to have. That we have to, lean on Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, for he is our shield and buckler. We have to trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, for he is our rock. All right. Verse 13. And all Judah stood before Yahweh Hashem Yahushai with their little ones, their wives and their children. And then upon Jahaziel, the son of Zechariah, the son of Benaiah, the son of Jael, the son of Mattaniah, a Levite, of the son of Asaph, came the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai in the midst of the congregation. So the Lord heard him, man, right? So verse 15, and he said, hearken ye, all Judah, and ye inhabitants of Jerusalem, and thou King Yehoshaphat. Thus said Yahweh Hashem Yahushai unto you, be not afraid nor dismayed by this reason of this great multitude, for the battle is not yours, but Yahweh Hashem Yahushai's. Okay? Tomorrow go ye down against them. Behold, they come up by the cliff of Ziz, and they shall find them at the end of the brook, before the wilderness of Jeruel, or Jeruel. All right? Ye shall not need to fight in this battle. Set yourselves, stand ye still, and see the salvation of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai with you. O Judah and Jerusalem, fear not, nor be dismayed. Tomorrow go out against them, for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai will be with you. All right, now let's continue on reading. And Yehoshaphat bowed his head with his face to the ground, and all Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem fell before Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, worshiping Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Okay, so they received their answer through the Spirit. So let's continue on reading, what transpires after this, because mind you, you have three nations, coming up against Israel, man. That's not a light thing. Continuing on, Israel was distressed, man. All right. So continuing on, verse 19, and the Levites. So let me see real quick. Yeah, all right, and the Levites of the children of Kohathites, all right, and of the children of Korites stood up to praise Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, the power of Israel, with a loud voice on high. And they rose early in the morning and went forth into the wilderness of Tekoa. And as they went forth, Yehoshaphat stood and said, hear me, O Judah, and ye inhabitants of Jerusalem. Believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai your power, so shall ye be established. Believe his prophets, so shall ye prosper. All right, because that's the main, the main characteristic that Yahweh Hashem Yahushai looks for in his people is faith. Okay, that trust in him. All right, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is not going to deliver you if you're weak, man. If you don't have no trust in him. Okay, verse 21, and it reads, and when he had consulted with the people, he appointed singers unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai that should praise the beauty of holiness as they went out before the army, and to say, praise Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, for his mercy endureth forever. All right, and when they began to sing and to praise, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai set ambushments against the children of Ammon, Moab, and Mount Seir, which were come against Judah, and they were smitten. For the children of Ammon and Moab stood up against the inhabitants of Mount Seir, utterly to slay and destroy them. And when they had made an end of the inhabitants of Mount Seir, everyone helped to destroy one another. And then Judah came toward the watchtower in the wilderness, and they looked unto the multitude, and behold, they were dead bodies fallen to the earth, and none escaped. All right, so basically what had transpired is these three nations that, originally came to magnify themselves and come against Jerusalem, all right, which is the southern kingdom, all right, Judah and Jerusalem, they turned on each other, man. And it was Yahweh Hashem Yahushai that did this, okay? And in order to get that, all right, we're going to go into, let me see. We're going to go into the book of, the book of Proverbs, chapter 21, verse 1. All right, and it reads, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, as the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. All right, every way of man is right in his own eyes, but Yahweh Hashem Yahushai pondereth the hearts. All right, so, hey, man, the Lord controls everything, man. Damn, man, see, Satan had it to where, I lost my place. Now I got to go and try to find it again. I think it's somewhere around here. But, hey, man, the Lord had it to where, the Lord basically, manipulated the minds of our enemies, that they came and they fought against each other, man. All right, and that's what happened. All right, and the very same thing is what's going to happen now. We have our enemies is going to magnify against us, come down like a great flood in Jacob's trouble, all right, through persecution, martial law, so on and so forth, man. But in the end, we're going to be delivered from it if we're of the elect, man. All right. And we have to have faith, man. Okay. We have to believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right. But notice how, all this, is the product of what? Them utilizing the tools, man. Prayer and fasting. Okay. Because when you fast, your signal goes up, man. Your signal to the Heavenly Father goes up. And therefore, you're in a better position than if you didn't fast. He's going to hear you more. He's going to take, what you're pleading unto him more, with more, what's it called? It's a word for it, but basically with more importance, because you are afflicting yourself, because this is a heavy thing that is happening, and that's why, in our walk, man, we may be going through some stuff. We might be suffering, affliction. We might be going through some temptations, battling these demons. It comes with the territory, and you may see, a billboard or something, a sign or something that has the word fast in it. And that's the sign that tells you are, due for a fast, man. Go and inquire of the Lord that he may deliver you from whatever situation you're going through, whatever temptations you're going through. All right. So let me see. All right. So verse 25, and when Yahushua and his people came to take away the spoil of them, they found among them in abundance both riches with the dead bodies and precious jewels, which they stripped off for themselves. So not only were they delivered, they were increased. All right. And that was the reward for them trusting and believing in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. See, that's our power, man. That's our Heavenly Father for you, man. We seek him, and he not only delivers us, but he rewards us, man. All right. And then the same thing, is going to play out, man. All right. Lord willing, we're of the elect. We're going to seek him. And guess what? We're going to be delivered, and we're going to be rewarded with what? The new bodies and the kingdom, man. All right. Continuing on, in it reads, which they stripped off for themselves more than they could carry away. And they were 3 days in gathering of the spoil. It was so much, so they were heavily increased. All right. Let me see. And on the 4th day, they assembled themselves in the valley of Baraka, for there they blessed Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Therefore, the name of the same place was called the valley of Baraka unto this day. All right, which Barak means to bless. That's why we we implement that in our salute. When we say, hey, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Barak Atah, bless you. All right. And it says unto this day, then they can return every man of Judah and Jerusalem and Yahweh Shaphat, the forefront of them, to go again to Jerusalem with joy. For Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai made them to rejoice over their enemies. And they came to Jerusalem with psalteries and harps and trumpets unto the house of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. And this is another part too. This is another key point. And the fear of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai was on all the kingdoms of those countries, when they had heard that Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai fought against the enemies of Israel. So the realm of Yahweh Shaphat was quiet, for Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai gave him his rest round about. So this is, what happens when we trust in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai and we implement the tools that were given to us, in order for him to deliver us, to ask him, certain things. And it's not just if you're going through problems, man. Hey, you may want more understanding. You may be in a position where you want more understanding. You want to know more in about the scriptures. Have more wisdom when it comes to the scriptures. You go on a fast, and you pray to the Lord. You ask him for more understanding. And he's gonna give it to you, man. So continuing on, we're gonna go to the next precept, man. All right, because this also applies in the spiritual side of things. We may be going through, it spiritually, man. All right. And then what happens? We implement the tools, right? And whatever, demons is plaguing us, get done away with, man. All right. So let's go to, what I'm saying? One of the precepts, fast and prayer. All right. Because that's one of the main, not one of the main, but that's one of the, purposes of fasting, especially in the Day of Atonement, which when you go into the Day of Atonement, it means, the word atonement, it means reparation for a wrong or injury, right? Reparation or expiation for sin, right? It basically means as a cleansing, that whatever, iniquity is in us, whatever imperfection, impurity is in us, be cleansed out of us, man. All right. And the scriptures, consistently go into that, man. All right. So now we're going to go into, into the spiritual side of things. Matthew chapter 17. All right. Let me see where I'm going to start on. All right. Yeah, we're going to start on verse 14. All right. So book of Matthew chapter 17, verse 14. And it reads, "And when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man, kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is a lunatic and sore vexed. For oft times he falleth into the water, and oft times he falleth into the fire, and oft into the water." So he had a heavy demon on him, man, that caused him to, inflict harm upon himself. All right, as we just by way of of how we just read. Okay, verse 16. And I brought him to thy disciples, and they could not cure him. All right. And Yahushua answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me. And Yahushua rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him. And the child was cured from that very same hour. Then came the disciples to Yahushua apart and said, Why could not we cast him out? All right. Verse 20. And Yahushua said unto them, Because of your unbelief. For verily I say unto you, if ye have a faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. And that was something that was displayed in 2 Chronicles chapter 20. All right, that faith of a mustard seed, being as the nations, in the scriptures being likened unto mountains. All right, not necessarily saying that this is talking about a nation here in Matthew 17 and 20, but in the scriptures, it equates nations to mountains. You had 3 mountains that was coming up against Israel, man. All right, you had 3 mountains that was coming up against Jerusalem. You had Ammon, Moab, and Edom. All right, in confederacy to do us to do away with us, man. And what happened? Yahushua had them turn against each other, man. We didn't even lifted up sword nor nothing. We didn't have to lift up a finger, and we were delivered out of that, and we were increased. All right. So continuing on, and it says, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. Howbeit, right, verse 21, howbeit this kind goeth not out, but by prayer and fasting. All right. And that's one of the things too. You got levels in this thing, man. You got, low level demons, they come to you, little shit. You know what I'm saying? Easy to, go away type, do away with, easy to rebuke. And then you have higher level demons, that bank on certain things that, you really don't like about this society, certain things that, that are much harder for you. You know what I'm saying? And these are things that's prescribed to every brother on a personal level, man. Every brother's going through a different thing. And that's why, it is important to utilize these tools. All right. That way, because at the end of the day, Yahushua, he is the father of spirits, man. All right. There is no, left hand rebellion against the Lord that, they're acting on their own will. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing that the Lord could do against them. No, man. They're all in order. All right. So if you pray and you fast and you ask Yahushua to help you with whatever you're going through, he's going to deliver you by, getting those demons out of you, man. All right. Or giving you more strength that them demons that seemed, higher level, where you're like, dang, man, how am I going to deal with this, to where it's something to where it's not a big deal anymore. And now you have the answers onto how to deal with that, So, hey, man, Lord willing, man, this was an edifying, lesson. All right. Let me see if I could close it out with another scripture, deny the flesh. All right, let me try looking it up. Deny the flesh, right? So that's Galatians chapter 5 and 16. All right, Lord willing, this goes into what we're talking about. So let's see. Galatians chapter 5 verse 16, which it does, you know what I'm saying? Because hunger and thirst is one of the something that the flesh depends on. So if we deny the flesh of its basic necessities, how much more for the lusts? How much more for the want to become rich, or the want to have the best women, the want to be the man, the most popular guy out there. You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature, man. We have a job to do at the end of the day. We're servants unto Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Romans chapter 12, we make our bodies a living sacrifice. So we could do that, so we could make or suck it, so we could put to labor our reasonable service, roughly paraphrasing. All right, so Galatians chapter 5 and 16, and it reads, "This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh." All right, for the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And that's one of the things too. All right, it is an ongoing war between the spirit and the flesh. Hence why, when you fast, all right, the flesh gets weaker, but you spiritually get stronger. Okay. So continuing on, I'm going to read it again. "For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh." And us being in this knowledge, man, we experience this, man. We experience this, man. We might be trying to do something, and then, the flesh come in like, "No, I want to do this." And you got to put the flesh in check, man. Nah, we going to do this, man. We're not finna play video games all night. We're going to study, we're not going to go and, you know what I'm saying? So on and so forth, man. Not to put my business out there, but continue on. And it says, and these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. All right, I'm going to read it again. So these are contrary the one to another, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. But if ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, right? And lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like of them, and such like of the which I tell you before, as I have told you in times past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Because we are in a wicked world, man. We are in a world that is covered in gross darkness. So if we are in the flesh, if we are basically, running around, we go into the way of the wicked and things of that nature. That's the end result of the flesh, man. All right, because this world is under a carnal vibration. All right, and the end result of these carnal vibrations, all right, is, as we just read, this big, laundry list of wickedness that is ultimately the end of being in the flesh, man. Basically following after the flesh. Because if you are after the flesh, you're gonna be lusting after women. And then you see a girl that you like, and maybe she might like you back, but then she got a husband at home, and if you're in the flesh, man, you're gonna commit adultery, man. That's why you gotta walk according to the spirit, man. Because if you commit adultery, now you're in a situation where you could get judged, sorely by Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, especially if you're in this truth, man. Like the scripture says, a just man falleth 7 times, but he gets back up. But that falling doesn't come without chastisement. Verse 22. But the spirit of the fruit, but the fruit of the spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such is there no law. Because that's how we supposed to be acting, man. That's how we supposed to be walking, in holy conversation. And they that are in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. If we live in the spirit, let us also walk in the spirit. Let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking not one another, envying one another. All right. So, hey, man, Lord willing, man, this was a edifying lesson. As we see, you have the different results. You have the results of walking in the flesh, which is a laundry list of wickedness. And as we read, such shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High, right? And then you have, the list of the fruits of the spirit, man. Which, what does it say? Against such there is no law, because if we're in the right mindset, we're not going to be committing iniquity. Not saying that, we're going to be 100% perfect. We keep the laws to the best of our ability, but it's in the mind. It's the mindset that counts. And many times Yahweh Shai, he would go into this, man. Like you'd have the scribes and the Pharisees, that would be, over righteous. They would broaden their fringes and their phylacteries. If I remember correctly, that's what it said. But inwardly they were wicked, man. So it's not about, being righteous on the outward appearance. It's about being righteous in the inward part too. And that's the very much important part in this ministry, man. That's one of the most important things in this walk, to set our hearts aright, preparing our souls for temptation and resisting such temptations, man. All right. And we do so by way of what? The tools, which is prayer and fasting. Okay. So with that, I'm going to say, call halal Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Rakha HaKudash, for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I know, I was going to close out a couple times, but hey, the spirit kept it going, man, for such reasons. So with that, I'm going to say shalom, on to the next.